Hey up, it's that old Yorkshire geek here with an impromptu live stream. I just thought, why not? Why the hell not? So, got a bit of news, so we'll just crack on with it. There we go. That's not actually the first bit of news, that is. Lucasfilm president Kathleen Kennedy admits the company has taken the fun out of Star Wars. You can say that again. This is from Bounding Into Comics. As usual, all the links are in the description box below, and don't forget, please like and subscribe to the channel and share the videos and drop a comment in the comment section, and let's just have a bit of fun. Sorry, just scratching my head. If you hear the noise, if you hear any noises from outside, I've got the window open because it's been a lovely day here in wild Yorkshire. So I've got the windows open to keep it cool. I thought I won't have the fan on because that's a bit noisy, isn't it? So we'll just have natural ventilation. Right, so where were we? Lucasfilm president, I've just read that, Anna. Kathleen Kennedy admits the company has taken the fun out of Star Wars. And there she is, in the act of taking the fun out of Star Wars. We'll just read it. Lucasfilm president Kathleen Kennedy recently admitted that under her leadership and Disney's stewardship that the company has taken the fun out of Star Wars. And there she is with Jon Favreau and Uncle Bob. Bob Iger, the former boss of Disney. Is he going to be the boss again? There's rumours, isn't there? In a wide-ranging piece in Vanity Fair, the link is in the description. That's what it looks like, if you want to go and check it out. I'm not going to read it because it's massively long. And lots of other YouTubers have covered it. But we're just doing the Bounding Into Comics approach. Because it's all about the... what's the word? Outrage. Right, wait. In a wide-ranging piece in Vanity Fair... about all the Star Wars projects Lucasfilm is working on, Kennedy discussed her failures with Solo: A Star Wars Story, how Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni came together to create The Mandalorian, and what her plans for Star Wars are moving forward. At the very end of the article, Kennedy detailed that she had a realization after watching a video montage of herself, George Lucas and Steven Spielberg, when she received the Milestone Award from the Producers Guild of America. She told Vanity Fair, "What I was so taken with is how much fun we were having. It amounted to this moment of realisation. I do think a little bit of fun has gone out of making these gigantic movies." You know why? Because you're in charge now, Kathy. You weren't in charge before. You were getting the coffees and doing a bit of, gophering, sorting things out, producer stuff, all that. But you weren't in charge, were you? You weren't overall in charge. So you could have fun. The business, the stakes, everything that's been infused in the last 10 years or so, there's a kind of spontaneity and good time that we have to be careful to preserve. I keep holding on to, it better be fun, she added. And there she is again with Uncle Bob again. And Pedro Pascal, who of course plays the Mandalorian, Din Djarin, and got his head squished in Game of Thrones. While Kennedy is clearly discussing the making of the films and that under her leadership a little bit of fun has gone out, that lack of fun on the creative end has also been reflected in the end product. Droves of people... Sorry, I was just checking something then. Droves of people tuned out as Kennedy released each subsequent Disney Star Wars film that can be seen in the film's box office haul, with The Force Awakens earning over $2 billion in 2015, and The Rise of Skywalker in 2019 barely grossed over $1 billion. The grosses declined nearly 50%. And there's Luke in The Rise of Palpatine, as the Force Ghost Luke, looking all Force Ghosty, and catching a lightsaber that Rey was going to throw into that fiery TIE fighter fire. Along with people checking out of Star Wars en masse, You also had creatives like Rian Johnson and J.J. Abrams suck the fun out of the franchise when they decided to attack the fans. In 2018, Abrams claimed Star Wars fans were threatened by having Rey be the trilogy's main protagonist. He told IndieWire, "Their problem isn't Star Wars, their problem is being threatened." No, the problem is Rey just being super perfect in every way and not having a thing wrong with her and not having a character arc. She's just great from the get-go, and she's great at the end. So, where do you go? What sort of adventure can she have? She just does things. She goes from A to B to C, and she doesn't change at all. Anyway, he elaborated, Star Wars is a big galaxy. That's why they keep going to the same planets. And you can sort of find almost anything you want to in Star Wars. If you are someone who feels threatened by women and needs to lash out against them, you can probably find an enemy in Star Wars. What's he talking about? He's an idiot. You can probably look at the first movie that George Lucas did, Star Wars A New Hope. Well, no, it was just Star Wars back then, wasn't it? And say that Leia was too outspoken or she was too tough. Nobody said that. Anyone who wants to find a problem with anything can find a problem. The internet seems to be made for that, he declared. And there he is in his joke glasses and joke nose. He just needs a moustache and a cigar, doesn't he? That's all he needs. God, I hate that man. I'm sure he hates me too. Rian Johnson would infamously describe Star Wars fans as man babies, tweeting back in June 2018, "What we talk about when we talk about man babies." I suppose he was going, in that stupid pigging laugh he does. Another one I'm not a fan of. He would then respond to one user who said, "You ruined Star Wars," tweeting, "Okay, I have to draw the line at you dragging your drooly little man-baby butt across the Wheel of Fortune Answers account. Back to the swamp, you're free/blocked." And there's the tweet. Kennedy also took the fun out when she decided to fire Gina Carano from The Mandalorian over an Instagram story post warning of the dangers of hating your neighbours. But before she fired Carano, she admitted that her entire plan with Star Wars was to fundamentally change it from the beginning. And there was a rumour, wasn't there, when there was like a party, I think before The Mandalorian aired, there may be a rap party or something like that. There's a rumour that Kennedy spoke with Gina Carano and then afterwards said, "That one's going to be trouble." So she didn't like Gina from the get-go. Anyway, Kennedy admitted she took the boys' brand in Star Wars and wanted to make it a girls' brand. She explained, "I think the interesting path we've had is the conversation that took place around consumer products, because there were a lot of companies that were in place who frankly didn't initially feel that Star Wars was for girls." Kennedy elaborated, when you have a company situation where between Lucasfilm and Disney, we were all looking at the situation saying, no, with Star Wars we have to change this. We have to make sure that we create products that are in a sense appealing to both boys and girls. What's wrong with that? Well, nothing, but you just go overboard, don't you? She would go on to admit that it was her goal to emphasise identity politics in the films and TV shows. The fact that the company was bought by the Walt Disney Company has been amazing because they very much support the fact that we are trying to grow in the workforce a number of women in executive positions and in all positions inside the company. Don't mean you've got to make your films all about women, does it? And with the movies that we are making and with the protagonists that we are putting in the stories, so I get a huge amount of support with that. Like you say, across even Marvel, all the heroes now, 99% of them are women. Nothing against women, but it's getting a bit much. I think it's about time we had a bit of men's lib going on. I'm going to burn my bra. And I need one. She then touted, but we have 50% of our executive team are women, and 6 out of 8 of the people in my story group are women. And I'm sure there's a lot of people that would be surprised that we're making Star Wars movies and the majority of people involved in the development of those stories are women. And I think it's making a huge difference in the stories that we're trying to tell. And there she is with Jon Favreau. It's hard to imagine that Kennedy will be able to inject fun back into Star Wars when she is one of the main reasons it was removed in the beginning. However, she did claim she has a roadmap that the beginnings of were seemingly put together just before The Rise of Skywalker was released in early 2019. Kennedy revealed, "We all recognised, every single one of us, that this was a new chapter for the company and that we needed to all work together to create the architecture for where we're going. As for what they came up with for theatrical releases, it will include films from Thor, Love and Thunder director Taika Waititi and Wonder Woman director Patty Jenkins' Rogue Squadron movie. What doesn't appear to be on Kennedy's map is a film produced by Marvel Studios boss Kevin Feige, despite writer Michael Waldron recently admitting that he's already begun work on the script. Waldron was asked by Variety, "Now that you're done with this movie, how far along are you with the Star Wars movie you're working on with Feige?" He answered, "We're finally into it in earnest. I mean, I'm writing away, it's a lot of fun. I'm enjoying having the freedom on that to do something that's not necessarily a sequel or anything. It maybe has a little bit less of a... It just doesn't have a bunch of TV shows and movies that you're servicing on top of it, the way I did with Doctor Strange. So it's nice, it feels like a different exercise," he concluded. Yeah, but maybe Kevin Feige has employed him, give him a bunch of money, say, just write a Star Wars film, and then if and when Kathleen Kennedy comes along and says, "Right, I want you to do this Star Wars film," he can say, "Great, I've got a script ready." Maybe he's just, doing that, just to, cover his bases. Because scripts, there's a billion scripts in Hollywood, isn't there? And all of them, all about different sorts of things. And some of them will be good, some of them will be bad. And, Hollywood is awash with them. There's a million ideas floating about, and, and most of them don't see the light of day, and it's quite sad, really, quite sad, but that's just the way it is. Right, despite Waldron claiming he's working on the script for a Kevin Feige-produced Star Wars film, Kennedy told Vanity Fair, "I would love to see what movie he might come up with, but right now, no, there isn't anything specifically." So maybe the roadmap was lifted from the Goofy movie and it was rewritten when Kennedy wasn't looking. Kennedy was clear that Rian Johnson's announced trilogy is not happening, telling Vanity Fair Ryan has been unbelievably busy with Knives Out and the deal that he made at Netflix for multiple movies. Multiple movies, my tongue went blah, 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 blah. Vanity Fair described Johnson's trilogy as backburnered. Who's he? Sorry. Backburnered. Bernard at the back. Not only did Kennedy admit that under her leadership she drained the fun out of Star Wars and aims to try and recapture it, but as noted above, she discussed her failures with Solo, a Star Wars story, and the casting of Alden Ehrenreich as a younger Han Solo. Not only younger, he was much shorter. He must have had a growth spurt between Solo and Star Wars. There should be moments along the way when you learn things, Kennedy said. Now it does seem so abundantly clear that we can't do that. Another failure Kennedy admits is the constant rotating of creatives at the helm of Star Wars. She now says creatives have to commit to at least 3 years minimum. Kennedy detailed, anyone who comes into the Star Wars universe needs to know that it's a 3, 4, 5 year commitment. She added, that's what it takes. You can't step in for a year and shoot something and then walk away. It requires that kind of nurturing. So they're not going to get big name directors now. That's what I think. What do you make of Kennedy admitting that she oversaw the removal of fun from Star Wars? Do you think she'll be able to bring fun back with her roadmap? What do you reckon? I don't think she will. Not with this regime. They've got to get rid of them and get some new people in and get proper Star Wars back. Star Wars that's fun and not full of, as they've said in this article, identity politics and the bestest ever people. So yes, Jedi Knight, they should have used George Lucas' sequel scripts and respected what the saga's creator intended. Yes, I agree, 100%. But Kathleen Kennedy stabbed him in the back, didn't she? I find it weird that she were made the president of Lucasfilm, George gave her that lofty position, didn't he? And then, like, what were it, a couple of years later, maybe even less than that, I don't know, Disney swoops in and buys up Lucasfilm. I wonder, did she have anything to do with that? Was that in her game plan from the start? Was she there to have Disney buy out Lucasfilm? But she did. She stabbed him in the back. Anyway, so there you go. Will Star Wars be fun again? I've got to admit, I do quite like The Mandalorian. But, but Boba Fett were crap. Will the Obi-Wan series be good? I've heard talk. I mean, they talk about these leaks, won't there, about the Obi-Wan series, about how it's going to end, and it's going to be all about, the Inquisitor Reva, and that she's going to be, the bestest ever, another one that's going to shove Obi-Wan to one side, and that was a leak. But then I've heard, I think it was Doomcock, I think in one of his videos, he said he's heard that it's not going to be like that, it's going to be different. So, we'll see. Anyway, so sticking with Star Wars, we've got, did Star Wars, look, you can't read that, yeah, but whatever. Did Star Wars learn the wrong lessons from Solo? Lucasfilm seems convinced that deepfake technology can help them avoid Solo's meagre box office earnings. But it wasn't really about that, was it? But anyway, we'll read. For some fans, the arrival of young Luke Skywalker, by the way, there's Alden Ehrenreich and, was it Eunice? Oh, I can't remember his name. That big fella, anyway, from Scandinavian. Eunice, I can't remember. But he seems a very nice chap. But there's Alden Ehrenreich as Han Solo, younger and shorter by about, about 6 inches, I think, at least 6 inches shorter, or whatever, than Harrison Ford. Right, for some fans, the arrival of young Luke Skywalker in the 8th episode of The Mandalorian's 2nd season signalled a coming together of young and old. Just when it looked like the Empire might have finally stolen young Grogu from Mando, Skywalker came to the rescue, showing off a full array of Jedi powers only hinted at in the movies. But for others, the scene signalled a turn to the dark side of modern filmmaking. The arrival of young Skywalker happened not because the then septuagenarian Mark Hamill reprised his role in heavy makeup, but because of deepfake technology. Well, it wasn't, though. It wasn't deepfake technology. They did their own version of it, didn't they? And then this other chap came along and did a different version, and they used him in the Boba Fett series, didn't they? So, but anyway, because he was what better. This technology allows studios to create performances out of digital thin air to capture footage from some virtual world where Hamill continued playing Luke Skywalker in the early 80s. It wasn't the first nor the last time Lucasfilm had done this trick for Star Wars. Rogue One featured digital recreations of the deceased Peter Cushing as Grand Moff Tarkin, and a version of Carrie Fisher in her early 20s as Princess Leia, while deepfake Luke returned again for an episode of the Book of Boba Fett. Now, that was a deepfake one. Well, I think it was. But there's different versions, isn't there? There's like a deepfake, copyright deepfake, trademark, whatever. And then there's other ways to get the same effect, isn't there? But anyway, but Lucasfilm hasn't always relied on computers to bring younger versions of their heroes. For 2018 Solo, A Star Wars Story, Alden Ehrenreich had the unenviable task of stepping in for Harrison Ford as the notorious smuggler, while Donald Glover took over for Billy D. Williams as Lando Calrissian. Sorry, I'm just thinking of him and the robot. That groinal attachment just pops in my head off Red Dwarf. While the movie has its fans, our own Don Kay defended both actors' performances in his review. Star Wars chief Kathleen Kennedy appears to consider them failures. Speaking to Vanity Fair, Kennedy describes recasting as an experiment that pointed the way for future projects. The There should be moments along the way when you learn things, Kennedy admits. Now it does seem so abundantly clear that we can't do that. For some, it's confirmation that Kennedy and the Star Wars team believe that an algorithm can recreate Ford's roguish charm better than an actor like Ehrenreich. This announcement raises concerns for Star Wars fans left underwhelmed with the simulated Skywalker shown on the Disney Plus series and Lucasfilm's choice to go down the digital route instead of recasting. Twitter user @DawnNewt writes that the news makes me want to scream a bit. Brad Whipple, a host of the Friends of the Force podcast, echoes that statement, calling the move infuriating, while defending Ehrenreich. The takeaway from Solo should be the lackluster marketing, not Alden's performance, Whipple tweeted. He was great as Han. Well, he was alright, wasn't he? I didn't hate Solo. It was okay. It was a bit brown, wasn't it? The colour palette were a bit brown and murky. But the film itself, the story, were okay. I didn't mind it. I didn't mind it at all. I quite enjoyed it in places. But a lot of it didn't make sense. But that's Star Wars, isn't it? I suppose. And modern screenwriting doesn't make sense. I'm a bit snuffly. I should have blown my nose before I started this. But as I said, I've just turned everything on, opened my mic, did a quick thumbnail, and off we go. And I forgot to blow my nose, so sorry. While fans' concerns certainly have validity, they can rest assured that the next Star Wars series will not use deepfake technology to recreate its lead. The real Ewan McGregor will play the titular Obi-Wan Kenobi. But it's getting to that time now when he should start looking like Alec Guinness. So maybe they'll half deepfake him. Using tried and true makeup and acting skills, McGregor's performance may not dissuade Disney from employing computers to bring us younger versions of Admiral Piet, Lobot, or any other character originated by an older or deceased actor, but it may remind producers that old theatre tricks are just as powerful as the hokey religions and ancient weapons they portray. Whatever. I think they should just use whatever's available. But I do think they should recast a lot of these roles, because they're getting a bit in Hollywood these days, particularly Star Wars. They're a bit too precious about the lead. The original series actors. They're a bit too precious about them. So recast them if need be, and just get on with it. I mean, they've done Star Trek umpteen times, haven't they, and recast them. So why not Star Wars? Right, next one. Right, League of Extraordinary Gentlemen reboot is officially in development. Now, I've got to admit, I enjoyed the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen film. I thought it were a lot of fun. Famously, it's Sean Connery's last film, isn't it? The late great Sean Connery. It's his last film. And a lot of people sort of blamed its poor performance and bad critical reception to it forcing Connery out of Hollywood, so to speak. But it wasn't. He just decided that was going to be his last film, and I enjoyed it. I thought it was great. I really enjoyed it. I've got it, on whatever DVD, and I've got it on Amazon Prime as well. I bought it on Amazon Prime Video. So there you go. So, yeah, I really enjoy it. But as I've said before, I've never been a big comic reader. When I was a kid, the only comics I read were like 2000 AD and I think Crazy Comic, which were came from the same publisher as 2000 AD, but it was like their version of Beano and Dandy, but with a bit more edge. They were the only comics I really read. The occasional Marvel one, but very hit and miss. And so I've never been a big comics reader. So obviously I've not read the graphic novel of League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. So, but to be honest, even if I had, I'd probably still like the film, because I don't mind if films are different to the source material. If they're still fun and they still make a modicum of sense, then I'm fine with it. But anyway, right, let's go. A new League of Extraordinary Gentlemen movie is officially on the way, according to the Hollywood Reporter. 20th Century Studios. Since Disney bought them, 20th Century Studios. Miss the Fox bit. Miss it. I wonder if they'll public opinion will force them to, somehow buy back the Fox thing and put that back in. Because for years it was 20th Century Fox, wasn't it? So, But anyway, 20th Century Studios is currently developing another adaptation of Alan Moore and artist Kevin O'Neill's popular graphic novel series for Hulu. So that means it'll probably be on Disney Plus over here in the UK, because we don't have Hulu. The film is set to be... Film? I thought it was going to be a series. Oh, never. Whatever. The film is set to be written by Justin Hayth, Red Sparrow. Never heard of it. Oh, no, I have. Yes, I have heard of it. Yes. And will be produced by Susan Montford and Erwin Stoff. I've never heard of any of those. Don Murphy is also on board in the same capacity. That name rings a bell. Having previously worked on the studio's earlier take on the source material. Probably where I've heard him from. Which featured the likes of Tony Curran, who played the Invisible Man, Petter Wilson, who played Mina von Harker, Naziruddin Shah, who was Captain Nemo, and James Bond star Sean Connery. And there were a couple of other people in as well. Jason Fleming as Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. And to be honest, I don't know who played Tom Sawyer. I don't know if I've seen him in anything else. Anyway. And there was somebody else as Dorian Gray, wasn't there? I can't remember who played him. But it was a great film, I loved it. Fight me. Right. Released in 2003, the superhero flick grossed over $179 million worldwide, which was pretty respectable at the time, given its $78 million budget. Despite its decent box office takings, though, it earned unfavourable reviews from both fans and critics and wound up scoring just 17% on Rotten Tomatoes. I disagree. I liked it. The comics, which take inspiration from the 1960 British film The League of Gentlemen, were a different story. Upon its release, the series won the 1999 National Comics Award for Best New Comic International, while its first volume picked up the Bram Stoker Award for Best Illustrated Narrative and an Eisner Award for Best Limited Series. Set in Victorian England, the franchise follows a group of literary figures, including Dracula's Mina Murray, who... That was her maiden name before she married Jonathan Harker, wasn't it? Alan Quatermain, Captain Nemo, Dr. Jekyll, and the Invisible Man, as they take on enemies such as Fu Manchu, Professor Moriarty, and aliens from H.G. Wells' The War of the Worlds, which were hinted at in the film, wasn't it? They were like a poster, like a news thing poster saying, Martians have landed or something like that. And I think that was going to be the sequel, but that never happened. Anyway, sources suggest that Hayth will be returning to the core comic books for inspiration, noting how plans for an all-female reboot, for God's sake, and a TV show were scrapped in recent years. As it stands, there's no word on when the new League of Extraordinary Gentlemen will premiere on Hulu, while we wait, blah, 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 blah. So it's going to be a film, is it? Is it? Oh, no, I thought, it says there, movie, yeah. So for some reason, I got it in my head, it was going to be a series, but it's a film then, fair enough. Fair enough. I hope it'll be good, because, as I said, I enjoyed that original one, that first one. I thought it was really good. You know what? I might watch it later. It's sparked my interest again. I enjoyed it. Sean Connery as Alan Quatermain. It was a lot of fun. It was. And Petter Wilson was super hot. Particularly when she turned bad and became all vampire-y. Right, Amber Heard may be cut from Aquaman 2 after being released from contract. Actress Amber Heard revealed during her defamation trial that she's unsure if her scenes as Mera will appear in Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. And there she is. She's super pretty. Just a shame. She's mental. Actress Amber Heard reveals that she is unsure if she'll appear in the final cut of Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. Excuse me, I've just got to take a drink of pop. Oh, pardon me. Heard plays Mera in the Aquaman franchise, a role that began in Zack Snyder's Justice League and continued into the solo film directed by James Wan. Her role in 2018's Aquaman was substantial, acting as a co-lead with Jason Momoa, who portrays the titular character. They use that a lot, don't they? Titular. I know it describes that, his name is the title, but, they have to use it all the time. Heard was brought back for the sequel, Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, sharing images of her training and traditional red hair for the part on social media. Still, very little else has been seen of her in promotional videos and images for the film thus far. Currently, Heard is on trial for defamation with ex-husband Johnny Depp, which has been ongoing for the last month. Heard has addressed her role in Aquaman 2 multiple times in the trial, shedding more light on her involvement in the sequel. Today, is this from today? Yeah, well, 18 hours ago, so that was yesterday, wasn't it? Where are we? Yesterday, Heard revealed more details about her return to Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom via CBS News, saying that she was initially released from her contract before filming. They released me from my contract and I fought to stay in it, and they kept me in it. I just don't know how much I'm in, actually, of the final cut. Later, Heard expanded on her involvement with the sequel, saying that she's unsure if she'll even be in the sequel at all, saying, I don't know if I will even be in the final cut or how much I will be. It was difficult to stay in the movie. And this is again with her red hair. Is it her hair? Is it being dyed or is it a wig? I don't bloody know. Much has been made of Heard's involvement in the Aquaman franchise since the various legal battles between her and Depp have arisen since their divorce. An online fan petition to have Heard removed from Aquaman 2 sits at 4.2 million signatures. It was also revealed that her chemistry with Momoa was also a concern in bringing her back for the sequel. Meanwhile, Depp has also suffered setbacks due to their legal troubles, losing the role of Grindelwald in the Fantastic Beasts franchise. Warner Brothers are picking idiots. As well as one of his more defining roles as Captain Jack Sparrow in Pirates of the Caribbean series. But he said he's not going to go back to it, but Jerry Bruckheimer has said, he doesn't know if Jack Sparrow will be back. He's open to him coming back, so, we'll see. Johnny Depp as Jack Sparrow, that's what I mean. While Aquaman 2 producers have said that including Amber Heard in the sequel was never in question, her statements revealed in court suggest otherwise, particularly the part about being released from her contract before starting. Heard also stated that she was given multiple scripts that continued to scale back her role in the film, ultimately reducing her screen time significantly compared to the first film. Some people have said 10 minutes, haven't they? She's got. As the trial continues, which is being live-streamed, it is unclear how much of it will affect Heard or Depp's careers once it's completed. Still, it will be interesting to see how it plays out for Mira's appearance in Aquaman 2 and any sequels that may follow. Currently, Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom is slated for release on March 17th, 2023. And that's your lot for today. I think she should be, if they've got rid of bloody Johnny Depp, they should get rid of her and all. Warner Brothers, because it's a Warner Brothers movie, isn't it, Aquaman? So they should get rid of her as well. And while they're at it, sling bloody Ezra Miller, sling him out on his ass and all. Get somebody else in as the Flash. That's what they should do. Right, we'll leave it there. Those fateful words while we go to Warp. I do like that. So there you go. So, I say a little bit of news, impromptu live stream. Thanks, Dark Jedi Knight, for commenting in the live chat. See, you've buggered off now, it says no viewers. But never mind. So before I go, don't forget to like and subscribe. Subscribe. I should have an echo thing. Subscribe. Bye. And share the videos that I do, well, if you like them. And drop a comment in the comment section. I try to do videos quite regularly. I do my reviews. I'll be doing a review in a day or two. Well, that rhymes, doesn't it? Of episode 3 of Star Trek Strange New Worlds, which I'm enjoying so far. Shock horror. I don't know why people are so don't like it. I'm enjoying it. I think it's really good. I do. I hated Discovery. I hated Picard. I hated Lower Decks. I would have thought I didn't care about Prodigy because it wasn't really Star Trek. It was just, a sci-fi thing. But Strange New Worlds, I'm really enjoying. I really, really am. Maybe it'll all go wrong, and we'll see. But at the moment, first 2 episodes, the thumbs up from me. So anyway, so that review will be coming in the next day or 2. So until then, wherever you are in the universe, look after each other, and I'll say they.